Aloha and thanks for tuning in. I am still trying to make some progress on the home cockpit, and I wanted to show you where I'm at so far and to show you some cheats that I'm doing to try to get done sooner rather than later. So first is the quickest and easiest to show you, flat panel. Now I'm not using a sticker. I actually went in and wrote on the STL file, wing flaps 0, 10, 20, 30. And you can kind of see there's my 10, there's my 20, there's my 30, 20, 10, 0. Very simple, but it's going to go in as a module. The different areas that I'm doing, here's one, here's the throttle that I've shown before, and here is, my panel. I'm doing a modular so that if I ever do have to update or reconfigure, I can just pop them out as a small section if I was having to tear the whole thing apart. So the flaps are pretty much kind of done, just haven't been wired. Engine gauges. Now I mentioned that I was going to try to go to square gauges, but that would also mean bringing in carb heat. I didn't want to do that, so I went through and redid my legacy gauges. Now here they are under a common piece of plexi. The thing about these round gauges, and here's the top, I had it upside down, is there's no room for an LED. If you use the legacy designs, you're going to find Captain Bob has some older ones from like 3 years ago. So what I'm doing, I'm putting them under a common piece of Lexan, and I'm going to put LEDs, around so I can light up the Lexan, and I'm going to put it under the panel so that I can light up these gauges. These rings in Sharpie, that's still a peel off. They can it comes straight off. The protective covering over the plastic. But the LEDs are going to wrap around so that these gauges will light up. And I have run these gauges before, they do work. So it's a little bit of a mess right now, but before I put them in, I'm going to neaten everything up into a nice little bundle to make it organized. And so I did mention cheating. I'm going to show you some cheats now. These are things that I may recommend. I just haven't gotten to the point where I can say I yay or nay recommend them yet. Cheat number one is trim wheel. This is a trim wheel from Flight Sim stuff. It feels very smooth. The trim wheels I've built in the past had a wobble in them. You get used to it, but I didn't want the wobble. I wanted something that felt very uniform, and this trim wheel absolutely feels great, but I'm not going to use it in its as-is configuration. There is a card in there. It's a very small card, and there's I think it's a 10-turn potentiometer. Well, and there's a footprint for this mount down here that I have mirrored on this piece of plastic. Now this piece of plastic, I've actually got another one printing. It's gonna be a little wider. Has the trim wheel indication here, as well as a hole for the trim wheel here, and it's got nose up, nose down, and an arrow for your takeoff. And on the back, it has an actual mount area for that card that's in the back of here. So I'm gonna remount this, and on the back here, the footprint for this guy right here actually will fit onto here. So it'll be one for one, pop it on, tap the same screws in, hold it in place. I'm going to use a leg off to the back here that I've already made, and just have an indication here for where the trim wheel is. So that's kind of a cheat, but it'll help me speed the process up, and it'll improve it because, like I said, when I built trim wheels, there's a little wobble in them that I get used to, but if I'm doing it, I want to do it right the first time. My other cheat, and this is because my fuel select is, I haven't found just a random knob that's that nice, left, both, right, that goes like this. I've had switches that were like this, this, and this. So there was like a 45-degree offset, but never that full 90, from 0 to 90 to -90. I haven't found it. So I'm going with, this is Aviation Training Foundation. And you can see here, and you have the fuel push-pull shut-off. It's a little off, but I may mount this at like a 45 or a different angle to kind of compromise between where the fuel shut-off is and where this is. But it feels really good. Both of these are supposed to be plug and play. Well, the trim wheel, you do a little configuring. It actually comes with good instructions on how to do that. But I'm looking forward to getting these set up, and hopefully that'll be here soon. And the biggest update, let me see if I can get this over with me here, is slowly but surely I have been making improvements to this panel. So I've got the backing on the panel now. The next thing is going to be to make the cutout in the back for where the honeycomb alpha is going to go. And then I've got to pop the actual handle, the yoke portion of the alpha off, so it goes through the hole in the front. And I did measure it out, so it should be okay. And you can see here I've got plastic covers that are covering up the little bit of wood messiness, like where I had to cut through in a square pattern for my enunciator panel and for my voltage and temperature up here. So they are covered. It'll look a little better. I have my cutout here for my comms panel, my GN530, radio 1 and 2, autopilot and transponder. That'll all be right here. And on the back, now the back is nothing fancy yet, as I slowly rotate through it. On the back, what I'm going to do, and these are some more things I got to print, you'll see holes where the wiring will pass through. I'm not going to put my Arduinos inside because that's just a pain to get to. I'm printing Arduino holders that I'm going to mount on the back, and I'm actually going to write on the Arduino holder in text what each Arduino controls. And then they're each going to go back here. I'm figuring 5 Arduinos total for what I need, because I'm going to have the 4 engine gauges, which actually have 8 gauges total. That takes actually 1.5 Arduinos. 7 of the actual servos is the most I can run on an Arduino in a stable manner. I've learned that because the second I hooked up the 8th one, they just stopped working right. So 7 of those, 6 of those gauges will come off of one Arduino. 2 will go to another Arduino. That other Arduino is actually going to be running my temperature and my voltage, along with probably my altimeter. And then they're just going to break up from there. They're going to be segmented from there. And I've got holes for cable management, so when the holes, cables come through. And the other plan I have is I'm actually going to mount a USB hub on the back of this, probably in this area here. That way, this entire panel, when I'm done, will only be one USB connection to the computer. So I'll have a 12 or a 14 connection USB over on this side. It's powered. All my gauges running off of that, and my 2 Logitech FIP gauges running off of that. So this is all just one big USB connection into the computer. So my next steps are to finish my 3D printing, and you probably heard my 3D printer just finish a couple pieces parts. And after it's finished, I'm gonna have to make the glare shield and the LED fixtures. And then I gotta figure out what height I want this at in front of my monitors here. And then I actually build the legs from there. And I have all the hardware and the stuff I need, but that's just part of the next step. So just a quick update to show you where I'm at, what's going on. And in the front here, you probably saw it previously, but here are the cutouts. And as I bring in the switch panel, I can kind of show you things do indeed fit in here. So you can see it does fit. So it pops right in, and then next to it's going to be the dimmer panel, which is down here. Then the dimmer kind of just fits in like yay, and they've got some screw holes in them. Then the throttle goes in there, and I will make a spacer piece here to just kind of fill in that gap. But slowly but surely, we're making progress. I still don't anticipate anything being done before middle to end of August time frame, just because my daughter and I do have a vacation coming up. We're going to be spending 3 days at Universal Studios, followed by about 5 days at Disney. And then there's a couple work-related trips that are still coming up. I just finished one. I got a couple more on the way. So life always seems to get in the way here. But so far, so good. I think I have made some decent progress, all things considered. And I know a lot of this looks pretty rough. My woodworking skills, unfortunately, do not exist. But I think I can hide that with paint and some other stuff as we go. And I think it's gonna be okay. But thanks for watching. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, absolutely ask questions, throw them below, give me ideas. I've gotten some great ideas so far from anybody who's watched, and I appreciate it. So yeah, this is my latest and greatest. Hopefully there's another update coming shortly, but again, life kind of gets in the way. But thanks for watching, and thanks for being patient. Take care, and as always, happy flying out there. Stay safe.